Hi, welcome back to Mike's Diabetes World. Now, I've done a video that's saying, oh well, you know, you are diabetic, but that doesn't mean you can't do what you want to do in life. Now, after that video, I started thinking back. Did I ever choose or use my diabetes as an excuse? Well, I did at least once, I know of. There was something in PE that I really didn't want to do. So I made, oh, my blood sugar's low. Could I go to the nurse? But we don't need to do that. We don't need to hide behind our diabetes. Diabetes is an important part of our lives. Easy to see, but so often, if we're not sort of taught in the right way, giving praise, you know, it may be just an easy way to get out. Oh yeah, you see, I get special treatment if I'm low. Well, maybe I did it a couple more times, but I didn't really do it too much as a habit. When I went to high school, I went to a private school on the island. And you know, from that point on, I was sort of free from parental control. Did I have to use excuses? I didn't really. Especially as I got more into my first year, I really didn't. I can remember having a low one day. I didn't wake up. It was sort of like morning, and you know, they came, they turned on the lights. They got the lower school ready, and at that time I was in the lower school. And I just wouldn't respond. And supposedly, they had to get people with a blanket to carry me into the nurse's office, which was actually close. It was just down the hall from where we were. So, you know, that kind of makes me think that I was sort of placed in that house. Well, how things suddenly make sense. I haven't really thought about it for years. But I was sent into the hospital emergency just to get things checked out. And I came back and went to games in the afternoon. Sports, sorry. And I felt perfectly fine. And, you know, I just haven't really used it as an excuse. Now, there have been days where I've been feeling really sick. I kind of feel nauseous, like you really don't want to do anything. And it's because my blood sugar's up. But did I kind of sit there and say, oh, it's all because of my diabetes? No. And for a while there, I didn't really even care. I took my insulin. I probably took too little at times. Any flu or cold I seemed to get. And I would end up in the hospital. But then something clicked in my mind where I got a supportive endocrinologist. And you know what? My blood sugars didn't fall into line. But that was nothing new. I mean, when I was first diagnosed, they didn't really go into line. And at that point, I was diagnosed, this is my surprise, look, with type 1 diabetes. Being a brittle type 1 diabetic. Ooh, my brain's going. And since then, I really haven't used diabetes as an excuse. I did, after doing my turn, and did like 3 years of working nights. I was involved in scouting at the time, and I would go Mondays to a scout meeting, and then I'd have to go down to work all night. And then Tuesday morning I would just fall asleep. I fell asleep on the couch so many times. But all that behind me, that's when it sort of clicked. Trying to get yourself treated and to get your blood sugars into tighter control really can work. So I had gone to my doctor, my endocrinologist, and I really liked her, and she wrote everything down, and I took that and I typed it up on my computer, and like I mentioned before, I started a thick book, which was my diabetes plan. And at that time, you had to write down all your blood sugars. Well, you know what? Maybe it's time for the binder to come back. But not to sit there and write down blood sugars all the time. Now, I was having a really rough time in working nights. Like I said, 3 years did it faithfully. And we're talking 5 out of 7 days a week. And sometimes I'd have to go in because the other person didn't want to come into work. Usually on a Friday and Saturday night. So there were times, because of that and my eating schedule was off, that I ended up in the hospital. Now, I can remember waking up being really kind of low, and I couldn't get, the phone was right beside me. It was a phone and a clock radio, and I tried to call, and I couldn't. Like, I just couldn't get things right. And I called an ambulance. And I don't remember how the hell they got in. But they got in. And I was taken to Burnaby Hospital and treated. So I I called in sick that night. But that was sort of, I wasn't ready. My blood sugars were still running low. I didn't want to pass out. I really did quite well at work. I didn't really, once I passed out. And I was working the gas and it was busy out there. And no one would really come out and help. And I sat there and go, I need help. I went rushing in trying to get the assistant manager to come out and help. But you know what? Oh, I'm too busy. You'll just have to deal with it until I get out. And finally I came in again and went around the corner and I collapsed. And it was sort of like my body finally saying, oh, just shut down. Well, not shut down. I'm not, but I mean, you don't have to race around anymore. And immediately this lady behind the counter was able to get help. No one would come out and help me before. But I went to the hospital. They checked me out. I got discharged. Went back to the store so I could get my lunch. And continued on. We do so many foolish things. If you have a legitimate reason for signing in or signing off sick, even if it's diabetes related, go for it. But if you're just using your diabetes as an excuse, oh, I really don't want to work today, don't do it. It's a waste of valuable resources. And the question, how are you doing on your diabetes plan? Gotta work on getting mine ready. Be a while before I see a doctor again. Have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Bye now.